Hello everyone, Ebberheart back with another video, and this time Bioware has released another blog post talking about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. In this one, they're talking about the visual improvements of the game overall. So let's get into it. Welcome back everyone. The Art of Mass Effect supports and builds a universe in which rich stories and characters can be fully realized. It may sound somewhat counterintuitive, but as artists, especially on this remaster, we want players to be able to experience the trilogy again, or for the first time, without being distracted by the art. Our goal from the onset was to improve the visuals while staying true to the original aesthetic of the trilogy that have become so iconic and genre-defining over the past decade. Our remaster rather than remake allowed us to build upon the original assets in a way that resembles the polishing phase in a normal development cycle, while also being able to utilize the advantages of much more modern hardware and software. And right here is a video from IGN, basically showing a comparison between the two. I'm not going to play that video because I don't want to get copyright striked by IGN at all, but I will link it down below for you guys. But I do have some screenshots that we will go over here in this blog post. And basically what they're talking about in this blog post right now is building the foundation, modernization efforts, and rebuilding worlds. And let's read this little excerpt. For those interested in the technical aspects of the game development, it's probably no surprise to hear that changing almost any asset or system can and will break something else. When a game is in its final state, it generally resembles a house of cards. The simpler process of blowing the dust off, let alone implementing foundational changes like updating the version of the engine, will undoubtedly cause unexpected issues. Remastering a single game is deceivingly complex process, so creating a proper plan for how to best mitigate risk while reopening 3 games to full development was foremost on our mind. So basically phase 1 of their project was building the foundation. We started phase 1 by identifying and cataloging every asset in the trilogy. How many particles, effects, 3D models, textures, levels, graphical user interfaces, elements, sound, cinematic movies, etc. So basically they looked through basically every asset they had to see what they could build on, basically. Do the source assets still exist? What it can prove? Basically they went through everything. The original Mass Effect was released entirely on a console cycle that allowed up to 1080p resolution, but was often actually running at 720p or lower. Now the remaster is releasing on hardware that allows 4K resolution, so the answer for how many textures we wanted to improve was easy: every single one of them. For the trilogy, there are well over 30,000 individual textures, and they worked on every single one. And basically we're going to look at one of the examples right now. This is from the original trilogy, and this is from the remaster. As you could clearly see, the lighting, of course, is 10 times better. They may have used this lighting in the old game to kind of mask some of the textures, but you see his skin, his eyes, the background is even lit a little bit more, the texture on his clothes. So they are trying their best to make the game look better, and overall, if this is what Anderson looked like during the whole trilogy, that's gonna be pretty amazing to see. Process 2, or phase 2, modernization efforts. Phase 2 was the beginning of what we could consider a full-scale development. The art team was now fully on board, and our content creation tools, many of which naturally change and improve throughout the trilogy, have been set up, unified, and made to work with more modern content creation programs. Eager to dig in, we started off where we knew the biggest improvements were needed: the original Mass Effect. Of course, as you see, they completely revamped the original Mass Effect compared to newer ones. I think they did that, of course, because that one needed the most work, but obviously that one was the roughest of the trilogy, and they kind of know that, and making that one the best they could possibly make it is probably better overall for the trilogy when it comes out, the remastered trilogy. Some assets, more frequently characters and generic props, were shared between the games, and many have already been improved in the later title or DLC, which of course all those characters and stuff did. For characters who appear in all 3 games like Liara, Garrus, Kaidan, Captain Anderson, and more, we maintained slight changes throughout the trilogy as they aged, matured, or got hit by a rocket. Obviously we couldn't let uniforms branded with SR2 sneak their way back onto the crew of the Normandy SR1, and we still liked how the Alliance Admiralty uniforms The Alliance Admiralty uniforms become more militarized and sleek as the trilogy progressed, so we improved each version of those outfits individually. And they have this cool little slider during the blog post that you can see. You see the original game, Liara looks the same thing as Anderson. You see the textures of her skin, the lighting in the background, her uniform, and they had a school slider to say you could go all the way. That's how she looked in the original game, and then how she will look in the Legendary Edition. And of course, you can see the difference, and that looks beautiful. And can't wait to actually get my eyes on that on a really high resolution to see exactly how it looks and plays. Go down to see their artists. Our character artists worked their way through a prioritized list of hundreds of armors, creatures, characters, guns, and vehicles across the whole trilogy. They would frequently take an asset back to its original high poly sculpt, focus on achieving a consistent texture resolution, add supporting 3D geometry where needed, and fix errors with baked normal maps or texture mapping. And they did this to increase the sense of realism. They also used other technical things right here, they said, for textures and materials to make plastic, fabrics, and metals react to light in a more convincing way. And they improved, of course, skin, hair, eye shaders, as you guys see right here in this image. And VFX particle effects artists were busily extending the length and smoothness of animations for things like smoke and fire. And they actually have another basically image that kind of suits that off. And this is in this one right here, but leave this little excerpt right here. New environmental particle effects were added throughout the trilogy to better enhance the mood and space sense of life. As many of you have already noticed, we also sharpened up and added secondary elements to the trilogy iconic horizontal lens flare. And you see that right now. We're going to see the Mako original and enhanced basically. So we're going to go all the way to the right and see how it used to look. You see even the radar and your Garrett, Shepard, and Rex side, you know, your HUD has changed completely. That's how it looks in the original game, and this is how it looks in the Legendary Edition. Now that looks gorgeous. And like they said, they added that lens flare to make it feel like, I think they did it for just a touch of atmosphere, because that glare kind of makes sense, because you know, you're looking into the sun and you see the smoke particle effects, a little bit of fire in the air, like little embers coming off, and that's, you know, oh, excuse me, that's exactly what they did. Of course, now you see it right in the middle. See the difference between the original and the remaster. We also improved all cinematics across the trilogy. I'm actually really interested in seeing that, because the cinematics, sometimes they are like watching a little movie. You watch them all together, it's like a little movie, and it's interesting to see all of them, I guess, reanimated again to see how they'll look. They don't have any, they showed a few cutscenes here and there, and I can't wait to just play some of them to see that for my eyes in like 2K or 4K. That's gonna be amazing. We also improved all cinematics across the trilogy. Whenever possible, we completely re-rendered or pre-rendered cutscenes in 4K, and they also did recapture when they needed to, an AI upscale program. They're basically just making it all look better and run better without taking up too much, but like working in the background for it to make look really, really good. Basically what they're saying. And they said during this phase, environmental artists completed passes through each level of the trilogy, and that's where you get these background textures. And you see this again, a slide. See the original game, how it looks really dark, and the textures aren't really there. You kind of see light coming from like the sources seem like just to be on the side of them. And of course in the remaster, you see that their suits are fully textured. They lit up completely. You can see the little glare off their glare, like you see their eyes through the glare in their visors. You see the background is lit up, it's not completely dark. And we're gonna do the slider. Boom, that's how everyone looks. And this is how everyone looks in the Legendary Edition. And how even just the lighting just makes everything look a little bit better. And that's gonna be an awesome situation when we get there. Let's see, lighting. We focus on maintaining the high contrast look while adding natural bounce lighting to ensure the characters are lit more consistently and beautifully. Of course, you saw that in this right here. We made systematic upgrades to shadows and added or improved post-process effects such as screen space, ambient occlusion, anti-aliasing, and broken depth of field. increasing the cinematic quality for out-of-focus cameras. We were also able to bring down engine features that existed in Mass Effect 3, such as dynamic volumetrics, to help unify the look for the first two games. And this is like basically a little gif of original game and the new game. And I like the way, personally, how like just her face structure is different. And of course they're going through like all the stuff in the background, and you see the subsurface scattering, the ambient occlusions, basically all that stuff in the background, and even the lighting. And there goes the comparison right there. Players will have more opportunities to see their improved characters reflected in the game, as the trilogy also includes new real-time reflections, such as the Normandy's fish tank. Oh, we saw that actually, the fish tank reveal. And Phase 3, rebuilding the worlds. In Phase 3, we begin looking at opportunities to make broader improvements to levels and features. Rather than just updating the individual assets, by this point we manually improved thousands of assets, but there was still a significant jump between the first two games. To guide this effort, we compared the levels we shipped to the original concept art, design intentions, and artistic inspirations. And basically they're going to show one of the levels right now from the first game. We see it from the first game. They're going down this tunnel. You see the reticle, old HUD, old radar, the textures. I mean, it still looks decent, but of course they said they try to remaster it and make it look the best they could, and you're about to see it right now. Slide this all the way, and in the Legendary Edition you see better lighting, the effect of the light creeping through the cracks, little particle effects from him shooting, the new HUD, the new radar. And they really tried their best to kind of like improve every aspect of the game, even the small things like that. And of course you see the new female shepherd base skin is in the first game. Pharos has a few very visual distinct sections, including the colony and the highway that leads to the Exo Jenny Corporation building, the aqueducts, and the Thorian lair. The former of these now feature stronger smoke and fire effects, more buildings to fill out the skybox, and much more damage and debris to better showcase the attack by the Geth. We also leaned into the visual atmosphere of the creepy, dark interiors and directional light shafts guiding players to uncover the mysteries of the Thorians. And we're gonna see them basically again. Oh, well, you see the original game. Guy sitting, the rock, the shadow, the holograms, your AI walking in the background. And let's slide it all the way to the right and see how it has improved. And already you see the lighting has changed. You see the reflection off the ground. Even the colors of the holograms are even radiating across the wall. Your companions, even the guy sitting, it looks even better. And that is just everything they added right there. And let's go back to the split so you can see it back to back. Basically they're talking about how they've changed the lighting. And of course there's another slider. Boom, the original. And then go all the way over to the Legendary Edition. And you see that even the dirt on her armor is an interesting touch. And like I said, the lighting all across all the games make them look basically brighter and more in focus. And let's go to a half and half, and you see it next to each other. This game's gonna look fantastic. Eden Prime is the first location you land in Mass Effect. It describes to you a verdant paradise planet under attack by an unknown alien ship, but the site that greeted players didn't always align with that image. Luckily, in Mass Effect 3 from Ash's DLC, which is of course included in Legendary Edition, we'd already revisited Eden Prime, so we could incorporate its overall atmosphere in specific buildings. We moved the sun's placement so the players' path forward is now illuminated by evening light, while the burnt red sky looms behind, punctuated by falling ash and tracer fire. We also improved the planet's surface with additional fire and battle damage, more foliage, destroyed structures littering the crater Sovereign leaves behind. And basically the numerous quality of life changes and expanded features rolled out in this phase, many of which we detailed in our previous blog. So be sure to check out that. Notable improvements include an updated HUD for the first game and UI consistently improvements across the trilogy, such as tech UI elements appearing in the blue and biotic UI elements appearing in the purple in the first game. The custom character creator has been unified and expanded upon greatly, and some of your favorite casual outfits from Mass Effect 3 are now available in Mass Effect 2 as well. And basically, this is their last excerpt. We started working on the Legendary Edition. We were overcome with a sense of nostalgia and curiosity. We know there is really something special in how the art and narrative work together to create a fully realized universe. To us, there's a sense of soul to these games, and we truly believe we've been able to strike a balance between making meaningful enhancements while retaining the same atmosphere and feel of the original releases. The launch is now only a month out, and we can't wait to let you experience these improvements while creating new Mass Effect memories for yourself. Until then, good luck, Commander. And that is this blog post for now, and I don't know, they'll do another one before the game comes out. I will link the blog post in there so you can read it completely yourself if you're a more technical type. But I cannot wait. We're only a month away from the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Like I said, it's be a whole bunch of new content when that game drops on this channel. I'll be streaming it on this channel for sure. I'll do it in parts as much as I can, playing through all 3 games and all the DLCs. I'll try my best to make other videos as well as the game comes out. Of course, a lot of you have played the first trilogy, but I'll try to make interesting videos about my playthroughs or what I think of something, or hell, let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see from this channel. Maybe I could do a video about, learning more about any companion, a little bit more back into their backstory, or a planet, or a gun, or abilities. Anything you want, just leave it down in the comments down below, and let me know what you think in the comments down below of all the enhancements of the Legendary Edition. It has been Ebberheart here with another video. Thank you guys so much. Peace.